I am live. I normally do live stuff on 312, and I decided to not do it because I was kind of tired and wasn't in the vibe to do anything. I am. I don't know how many times I have to say to people it's been a long 5 years. They say time flies when you get old. It's like my 30s, my mid 30s has been very, very long. Um, it's not to say that it may fly as I go into my 40s, and I'm really dealing with. I'm not dealing with age that well. Just like I do. I tend to blame a lot of people for my problems, and I can only control how I respond to things. But there's just part of me that wants to get angry and get even at the people who I suspect did wrong. I feel there were people in my life that only lived in the moment, and they I'm still recovering from narcissistic abuse 30 years later. These people were very, very evil. Oh, they're not in the field anymore. They're retired. They're just happy. They're not thinking about what they did to you. Of course, I fucking know that. Doesn't matter. It's that these people were, in my opinion, criminals, and these people, like, we're told to respect authority, but what happens when authority doesn't respect you? So I get sometimes I'll get very feisty and say F you, Mrs. Lemieux, because you're nothing but a liberal, overeducated hack that had a fucking woman crush on my mother, and you put your anti-male bias in your profession, and you hired women that were extremely far to the left that got into, I mean, not even at the middle school program is just as bad. The high school program wasn't as bad. The school to work program, 20 years ago. I didn't do a lot of special ed Saturdays of late. There were a lot of things that I went through 20 years ago that still haunts me today because I'm nowhere. I'm nowhere. And I am. It's not just. It just seems like the past keeps replaying itself, and there's no way for me to turn it off. Running away from the past and nostalgia is not good. I know that for a fact. Confirmation bias and all that good shit. But it's just I can't even I can't even live in the past myself because I'm just dealing with the reality. This is why I think it's very, very wrong to have a mother and son, an autistic son and a single mother, to be two's a company, three's a crowd, whatever. I think this is really bad. I am depleted. I am my my mother's always in a vulnerable situation. There's never a day where there isn't any peace. A quiet day. In fact, Sunday was pretty quiet. Monday was pretty quiet. I don't know if it's a stimulation thing, but she was talking, like, for instance, I want people to know that a lot of people assume my autism and how I'm very literally thinking. No, that's one of the misinformation. When my mother says she's gonna do something, I take it seriously, or I want to take it seriously, or I'll take it literally because I think, or sometimes I won't take things seriously because I don't know what to believe because she just talks so liberally. I can't even make out when she's real and when she's not. But I always take everything literally. You want to go on the assumption that she'll do it, even if she doesn't do it, or just always expecting unexpected. And that's kind of my mother. She's very spontaneous, very um, um, just very unpredictable, which is emotionally unpredictable or actually on actions unpredictable, because it really just messes up my life because I'm expecting one thing, but then I'm seeing another, or I'm going to get stoked for something, then get let down, or she's going to do something and then I'm often her sounding board, and particularly with her being laid off and her doing the job search a couple months ago, starting a couple months ago. It was, um, excuse me, I'm feeling very down today. Just there's no stability. It's just like everything is like the pool, like the water is just churning around, and I'm just like I can't like I can't sit still myself, and I want to do that, and um this could be a borderline thing. It could be a cluster bean thing. It's just I can't do this thing. I can't do the highs and lows and the spikes. My body can't handle it anymore. Um, because I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns that she doesn't know how to internalize her internal thoughts. Her inner, like she always is. Okay, so when I'm talking about inner words, I'm talking about thought bubbles. Okay, things that are on your mind. There are things that are on my mind, but things go through a filter because some of those thought bubbles you may not want to know because it might be sick or perverted or it's too much information. My mother does the TMI. She's talking a lot about things that are highly speculative, unverifiable, not confirmable, and a lot of misinformation. And she's doing a lot of self talk where you're talking yourself down kind of a thing. She does a lot of talking out loud, thinking out loud, using words that she's thinking, not internalizing things, because for some people in leadership positions, or if you want to be like taken seriously, a mother to me is a white collar job, in my opinion. She's a very blue collar chick, um, but in terms of wanting to be a protector or whatever, being a parent, you need to internalize some certain things. You don't say things out loud because the hierarchical child's going to hear a mother talk out loud of something that she should know. It should be like muscle memory, whatever that is, right? And she doesn't really have a good muscle memory. She needs to say it out loud. It's like you're the human whiteboard or paper clipboard. Um, she does not know how to internal put some in band thoughts versus out of band thoughts, right? She's explicitly loud. Um, so it really puts a lot of anxiety because you're just listening, and sometimes I'm gonna be an asshole, and I'll cut her off, and sometimes cut her off. I know she doesn't like it, but I need to stop her. I'm like, you can't put all this on me. Um, which really depletes me as an individual hierarchical child. You know, my mother's never going to have a daughter in law. And it's almost if she doesn't want one. And having my own autonomy and my own identity, um, and stuff like that. I did learn a little bit more about the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs with my therapy. By the way, some people don't think I'm on therapy. Let me taking therapy. Let me read you something on 312 that really he knew this individual knew I'd get triggered, but then wrote it anyway. So again, this is another thing about masculinity manliness, tomboy, whatever. Anything that's masculine, I fucking hate. Let me read the screen grab here. I'm gonna tell you something that's going to upset you, and I get it. It's a lot. You need help, buddy. Love how he says that. Go offline, go see a therapist, and get active in your community. Focus on your efforts in helping yourself. No shit, Sherlock. No shit, Sherlock. Um, I told the guy he has videos on his channel in this instance. I didn't know that. Yep, this channel has been abandoned for 3 years. I've seen a therapist since a major incident in April 2016, and I fucking lost my grandmother. And I don't know what the rest. I don't have the screen grab, but I said something, that I, you know, don't be lecturing me. I'll call the cops on you. Yeah, because it's harassment. So anyways, just to let you know that, that therapist that I've seen since April, since that almost got I did get the police part, got to see police involved in my former advocacy, and I did not YouTube, I did a Facebook video for the what is now my YouTube channel, basically apparently inciting, threatening language to state employees, and it got the police involved. As a result, I had to go to the facility for a weekend. They wanted me in there for 30 days, from what I've been told. And then I was able to get in there for the April weekend. And it wasn't respite at all. And that was the other thing. My mother was spending a lot of misinformation during that panic, too. And a lot of information got distorted when I got there for that weekend. The first 24 hours was bad. The last 24 hours was fine. Got out of the place, and I just, totally different person in some ways. Communicate online, of course. So, anyways, back to the subject at hand. I was just talking about this with my therapist in my last session about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and unfortunately, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is the theoretical. So if you have the 5 layers, if I'm not mistaken, right? You check the box, right? But what if those boxes are checked in a practical sense? Theoretical doesn't apply to me. It's what's happening in real life right now. Am I sacrificing myself to be my mother's emotional surrogate? Am I letting go of my autonomy just so I have my mother has a twin? I've done a video on my other channel about Marine Man, having to sacrifice individuality for an adopted brother figure. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that I need that aren't really being addressed and have been neglected because society, the community, there isn't really a community. This asshole is saying, "Oh, go in a community." Yeah, sure, but everyone keeps themselves in New Hampshire. It's a very closed off state, and so it's easy to just say, oh, there's a simple solution, use a T8 screwdriver to fix you up, but that's not how the real world works. And I can't go on like this forever. This is really putting a number in my life. My life has been halted for 5 straight years. 2.5 to 3 years was the pandemic. The last couple of years was family, and not to mention my closest cousins don't really communicate and have their own. I'm not going to give them a pass. I'm sorry for being an asshole and being coming up as entitled. I just have problems with when you can't even make an effort to communicate. All you're doing is just passively stalking me on the Instagram stories. I mean, it's a professional page, and yeah. I I just been through so much, and I don't think people understand people in the real world, men that are on YouTube, 80%, 80% of the users on YouTube are male. So they don't really understand this. So when they see some guy flailing, they just think a simple solution writing in the comments is going to fix the problems, when in reality it doesn't. And I also don't like how feminist women are telling men to go get therapy, when it's not that easy to get therapy. It took me almost crossing getting a felony with the second line of the New Hampshire State Police to do something. Okay, so that's what happened with me. I almost almost broke a felony for me to get help. Okay, that's how desperate the system is in the state. So don't be telling me get therapy unless you want me to commit a felony to get help. You know, so it's a challenge, and I'm just like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand people. I think apathy leads to people wanting, pushing, shoving. It's like, my father would have been the worst dad ever. I would have hated him, and then that would be a crime to hate your father if you weren't even an adult. My father is my father would have thought I was a spoiled, rotten, feminized child, boy, man child, and I don't fucking care because I think he's a fucking narcissist who's an abusive, aggressive asshole. I think he's the worst one. Defensive, defiant, deflective behavior. I mean, sorry, I think you're a jerk. You should be in jail. But and what's really sick is I look like my father too, which really sucks. I mean, I have some of my mother's, I have certain maternal, but when the paternal family saw me, they saw my father, so it's all the fighting for the blood, which is disgusting. This is one of the reasons why I don't want to be around family. I want to make a family. I want something, more. And and I don't know if I've been looking on the upper part of the bug here on the, I haven't seen anything in the chat. Guess people are out. Hopefully you're not near the beach or the ocean, because Erin's just one feisty bitch. And just churning up the East Coast. Just like we're probably going to have North Carolina water up here for a little while Virginia might have our water. It's, God, storm surge. That's kind of what's happening out there. But hopefully you guys are enjoying yourselves. And I'm going to sign off. I'll be doing some more videos. I'm going to get something up for Monday. Not that anyone's really watching. I've been looking at the statistics, and really the stats aren't really showing a lot of growth on this channel. So I'm just not going to I don't put a lot of effort anymore, to be honest. If you care, you guys know. I might be republishing the blog from 2012 to March, because of just some various things that were happening in the springtime that I didn't want it to be tracked on the web. So I'm going to slowly rebuild the Hopeless Autistic blog, get that back up, do it in chunks for September, and stuff like that. So, alright folks, if you guys are watching on playback, thank you. Leave a comment. It's just been a long 5 years. Long 5 fucking years. Like, that we'll never get back. And I'm just like, I'm tired of being an emotional surrogate to people that should be strong by default. You're gonna call yourself a biological woman, act like one, please. Alright folks, bye.